Completely uncensored radio on regular radio.
On Coffin Radio. Well,
really?
Heather's shaking her
really?
head. Nice. Hey, we're laughing and medicating. We're outside in the cold, protesting the man.
Ooh, maybe it's cold outside.
Two hotheads where activism happens, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're unwinding, and our spirits might be a little picked up right now.
Debriefing from a day of fucking awesome activism and awesome activists. And this was not announced previously, but this was a secret final stop on the rally route today.
TSA,
the Unregular Radio studios, the TSA out of MBTA has made their final stop here, and we're psyched about it.
And we'll wonder if the TSA is listening to us right now on unregularradio.com. If you are, call in. Call us, TSA. The number is 617-606.
We want to do some role plays,
3700.
Maybe you can help us out.
Yeah, please call in. We have some special guests. We just came from the TSA out of MBTA rally that started at 4 different beginning points on the T system, MBTA subway system in Boston. It ended at Park Street Station and then went over to the Boston Common on the Parkman Bandstand. There were a lot of great speakers, a lot of different groups there, from the Anonymous movement to the Occupy, Libertarian,
Pirate Party,
yep. The Two Hotheads show on regular radio. There was people from Marijuana Reform over there, Audit the Fed, just all types of different activists. People, I call us all human rights activists, because I think this is, whether you're for the Constitution or some other documents, it really comes down to human rights. We all have the human right not to be accosted, especially by the big bad federal government with no warrant, with no oversight. And we spoke today, and we got some oversight coming in, because in the media, the TSA is answering to our protest that was started by us, the people. And we saw that in the Metro. We saw that in the Patch. We saw that the Boston Herald was there today interviewing people. We saw student journalists interviewing people from Emerson University. We saw Chris Faraone, I'm calling him the #1 people's journalist in the city of Boston, was down there filming, recording part of it, promoting it.
Let's hear it for Chris Faraone, because he's been honestly so amazing in supporting all of this stuff and getting this information out there.
And the work that he's been doing over the last couple of years, I got to give it to Chris, and how good of a writer he is. Like, I feel like on the activism, a lot of us are equals in this, which is great. But on writing, Chris Faraone, that's his true talent. That dude can write. I can't write. Jesus, I wish I could write a book like he can. I can't wait to see his new book. So, yeah, let's hear it again for Faraone. It's important. The King of Pot for helping out, getting some flyers. I mean, I could keep going. There was so many good people down there. But we want to speak to, we got a full studio of people who were down there today. But we want to speak to two of the more impressive people this week who have really stepped up and contributed, especially
they know they're our favorites.
Yeah.
We don't need to suck up to them.
You know who they are. Garret Kirkland, especially this week. You've been killing it, dude. On Twitter and all this shit you've been doing.
Garret worked his ass off for this.
Yeah, say something, Garret.
Thank you. There's no need to kiss my ass. I love you.
No, we're not kissing your ass. You just did good this week. And
I thought you liked that.
Proud to know you.
Depends on who. You guys, actually, I do enjoy.
I do declare.
Mercy.
I'm not a player. I just crush a lot.
What?
Where did that come from?
All right.
Mike with the non sequiturs today. I'm loving it.
That's awesome.
Tons of credit out to the people and organizations that threw up. If I could just run down a really quick, brief list. I mean, like you said, KOP, Unregular has been huge. I mean, we've been on this radio.
So, Casey Hoye.
Casey Hoye was out there. I mean, huge help from our friends over here at Unregular. We had the Revolution is Evolution group leading our march out of Leechmere. We had the Free American Patriots out at Ruggles. We've had occupiers out in numbers. Like you said, we have the Anonymous guys. Huge help from the Anonymous guys. Huge help from the Pirate Party. Mass Pirates is doing a lot to help us get people out there. So there's been a lot of help behind the scenes, and I'm just so grateful that we can come together and actually start to address these issues.
Absolutely, it's been it was a great, exciting day just to see everyone coming together.
Yeah, I want to hear, what were some highlights? I mean, I was there for the rally part, but for those of you guys that started, went all the way from whether it was Central Square to South Station, Kenmore. Tell us about it. Tell us about the whole.
That's a good thing. Well, I'm going to start because we're going to go in this order from kind of like we do, opener to headliner.
Okay.
Just like we did for the speeches, and I think it was great. It was. I started out at Central Square area. I met up with Casey Hoye and some of the Pirates. Jamie was there. It was just friggin' great. You know, there weren't that many people in the beginning, but as we went, it got bigger and bigger. And we were the first to actually. We were behind schedule, but then we were the first to get to the Common, and just to see the amount of cameras and media that was already there, and just to see Frank and Garret come in and the speeches themselves. I think especially the speech I loved the most. I actually liked what I did. I got up for like a minute and basically talked about all the people there. And I think that was a good tactic for me and good way to really just leave it short. And then my big thing is I got to introduce who I thought was the best speaker. And I'll say there was a tie with Garret. Garret, who was also very good, and Tamerlane. But I think the three, great best speeches were Tamerlane, Garret, and then Frank Capone.
Yeah.
So let's hear from Frank Capone.
Yeah,
how was your day?
My day was great, My day was awesome. We woke up this morning, Garret and I, bright and early, and
whoa, what does that mean? We didn't wake up together.
Well, no.
We
woke up. Okay, excuse me.
We're being inclusive today.
We woke up exclusively in our own homes, and then got together later on after the fact, and did.
You weren't cuddling.
All right, no. Okay.
I told him we could only cuddle if we talk about the Fourth Amendment.
All right, so we were spooning, and then we said, all right, we ought to get up and get going and get this, action happening.
Sweet amendments into each other's
exactly. I was like, I have a right to be secure in my person and possessions.
Is that your safe word?
See why this dude gave the best speech? So what were we talking about again, Fred?
So I basically spoke about the fact that, how we might not have had, 400 people or 200 people or,
But we had a good shit amount of people for fucking that cold in February in Boston, the hottest city in the world, to get people to come out to do shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we fucking owned it today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But most importantly, it was about the fact that, it doesn't take 200 people.
Yeah.
It doesn't take 100. It doesn't even take 75. I mean, you can affect change at a state and local level with very small numbers. And like I talked about in my speech, it's all about an irate majority, an irate minority.
Yeah,
minority.
A few people getting pissed off. That's what I really liked about it. You brought up exactly what I asked people to do. Bring up personal story of something that you've seen actually happen. You were part of something that helped to actually make sure a bad law didn't get put in place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Garret was also part of that. In 2009, Senator Richard T. Moore, attempted to pass what's known as the Model State Powers Act here in Massachusetts, which is like basically a bill written by FEMA that consolidates control in an emergency situation. So it takes protections actually out of the system and puts the power of decision making in a very few person's hand, And so about 50 of us, sometimes once a week, sometimes every 2 weeks, went down and we knocked door after door after door after door, spoke to aide after aide, and rep after rep. We followed them in the halls. We put them on notice. We put them on message. And they came out against us and said we were a bunch of crazies and a bunch of yahoos, and that this was all for the good of the Commonwealth and But at the end of the day, our tenacity and our small irate minority got it done, and we killed the bill. And we killed the bill.
Because secretly you had a lot, you did have the public support, but the public, I mean, people always think that there's no one else fighting for it. Yeah. So you don't have a chance of changing.
Yeah, and when private citizens go up to the State House and actually make these requested changes,
whoa.
They go, whoa, because they look at one person as representing 100. And that's the true reality. Like, someone like myself probably represents maybe a couple more than 100. Heather will represent a certain amount of people. Garrett's going to, every single person is speaking for many more people. And we showed that today because we did bring out numbers, and the community that we brought out and that you guys brought out, I mean, it was widespread. I'm very excited about today. And like the same message I'll say, my life experience, marijuana mass can is maybe 5, 10, maybe even actually less than that, like 3 or 4 people who actually did everything, who got this shit going to get decrim, to get medical. We are plotting, you know, and there's a couple different groups working together. We're plotting for legal, you know what I mean? Like, we know who the players are. Alex is in here. He's one of the players. Like, there's not that many people, and look at what we done, because we cared so much that we split the time and effort. And that's always my question and reminder. Are people willing to do it? We don't need that many of them, and I saw enough today.
Yeah, no, more than enough. Absolutely more than enough. And something that's to play off the point you just made, when I was speaking with Senator Moore's legal aide, Kimberly Haddad, I was scheduled a lunch meeting with her, right, to talk about this, because we had like this big blowout in our office with like some people who, you know, kind of just started screaming at her and calling her names, and she kicked everyone out, and I, you know, sweet talked my way into staying, and so we set up a lunch meeting, and it turned out that I couldn't get out of work in time to get there, and so, you know, I emailed her and said, I'm sorry, you know, I couldn't get out of work in time to make it there, and she sent me back an email that said, what? I thought you got paid to do this. You know, and like that's kind of like the level of dedication that we put into that, you know, and like that's all it takes. It's not that hard, you know what I mean? It's not that hard. Just seeing like somebody walk into their office, they're like a deer in headlights for a few seconds. Like, who are you?
And especially
where are you from? Why
especially
are you
when you start answering those questions so nicely and calmly and reasonably, and they like you.
I mean,
that happens almost every time.
Yeah, but I mean, it's that's the issue here, is that we are completely in control and completely have the power to make this happen.
Yeah, and if you can't do that, if you don't like, you know, if you're, for whatever reason, you can't go down in person, write a letter. Yeah. It freaks them out.
Yeah, no, letters, phone calls. I mean, they
comments
keep track,
on
you know?
YouTube,
well-written letters.
Comments on the YouTube videos that we put out. you know, and all this stuff. Facebook posts. We know what we're doing. We're doing it, and you know, way beyond the certain amount of people that came today is the support on Facebook and on Twitter. I mean, Garrett, let's talk about that too. I mean, I was watching that Twitter blow up and the amount of people posting there, and like that's getting noticed. Like that's getting noticed.
Yeah.
Like in mass politics.
Yeah.
Like Twitter is big now. MAPO, the hashtag MAPOLI. Yeah. That's a big one. Chris Faraone's on there, like one of the top 30. Like all the Glow people, the people that follow DeVal Patrick, they're you know, all those news writers. Yeah. You know, the Boston media established local. They're noticing this week. They noticed this story.
I mean, they definitely noticed. I mean, just look at the response we got from the media. We had a bunch of different media organizations attack what we were doing and try to say it was a fringe thing.
I don't think they did,
really?
though.
Dude, I didn't even see any of that. No. When I search for all this stuff, I see like the patch articles, the Metro. I mean, the Metro article was really in favor of it. It was fantastic. What were these? Tell me about these articles.
He's not. He's getting they were good.
No, they were good, especially the Metro article. Because I know the writer, Morgan Russo there, she had tried to contact me. It was like 3:30, and she had a 5 o'clock deadline, and I was working my job. So she got a transit comment. But no, they did good work, you know, with a lot of the articles. I don't know, maybe it was just a comment, especially on like the patch article I noticed. There was all
Well, there was comments are always, I mean, those are the idiots that stay home anyway. Yeah. We need the people who come out.
You do need the people that come out.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, like, you know, Mike says, it's, you get one person, one body to actually show up, and that really does represent, you know, a lot more people who don't necessarily have the ability to get down there because they're not getting paid for it. It's like these days, you know, if you can't get yourself down there, like you're kind of held to your not being able to afford it. So unless you have a corporate branding like that lady was looking for, what are you doing down there? You should be at work.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Fox News came out too. You know,
Fox 20. Yeah, they had a Fox 25 camera down there at Dewey Square, where we were assembling for the South Station March, which was cool.
And that's why we want the TSA out of the MBTA, and that's why we're going to win this. We are going to win this. I know.
No, we're absolutely going to.
We're going to win this. Can we say this today? Because we've been predicting shit.
We are going to.
Are we going to win this? Are we going to get?
We're winning this.
Can we put money? I don't bet, but do you want to bet money with somebody? Like,
how much does it cost to get on the T? $1.75.
I saved $2 today.
$2.
That's why I boycotted them.
Into the subway.
Card is $2.
All right. With the Charlie card is $2. Without it is like $2.50.
When was the last time you got your?
I boycotted them today.
Man,
I refused the last time I refused a search, and I just walked to a different station. You know, which is hilarious, right? So like these searches are supposed to keep us safe, right? So if there is an actual terrorist that wants to go into Park Street, okay, with a bomb in their backpack, backpack, and they walk down the stairs and they see the TSA people at the table, you know, and like,
wouldn't they just light off the bomb because they want to take off as many cops as they can?
It's also in the Massachusetts law that does this whole program. They have to have they have that stupid sign always ahead of the checkpoint saying that Homeland Security is doing this bullshit search for your protection or whatever. They have to have those warnings out there. So it's like, wait a minute, you're going to tell me that these random searches are going to somehow randomly discover the terrorists that you're also warning are coming into the system. That is also completely unprotectable because you can jump on the side of the street on the green line or in parks inside of the city, like anywhere.
Yep.
It's security theater.
I go exactly. It's exactly theater, and I would defer to what the ACLU in Massachusetts says about this. It's completely ineffective. But it also takes away our civil rights.
That's such a good point too, because
destructive.
We've been talking about that on this show with like Alex Jones. I've been going after him for theater, and like. That's what this is. This is what this really is. It's fucking theater.
It's fear mongering. It's
fear mongering theater. TSA, MBTA, get them out. We are going to get them out. We're all in agreement. Is everyone here in agreement? Frank, you're in agreement.
We're going to chase those crazy bald heads. Right?
Yeah, 2 hotheads.
Them crazy. Hell yeah.
I was speaking of theater. I was thinking about doing some role plays, but it seems pretty simple. You say the best way to deal with it if you get selected for a random bag search, or you don't even go as far enough to see whether you'd be selected. Right? You just turn around. What if you did get asked?
Well, no. I mean, I would if I was to walk past them and they didn't want to search me, then I would just get on the T. I mean, because I'm not being searched. My rights aren't being violated. I could stand there and scream at them about them violating other people's rights, but then I'm late for work. And the whole thing is that it's if you're being like forced to make the decision, because they're not forcing you to be searched, but they're forcing you to make a decision, and that decision is: do I want to allow my rights to be violated? Do I want to,
in order to get to work,
give up my rights now in order to get to work, right, and be on time,
to get to the station,
and to get to where I need to be, to get where I need to be, Am I going to make that choice? Am I going to say, okay, yes, violate me? Or am I going to say, no, you don't have the right to do that. I have a Fourth Amendment right to not be searched, to be secure in my person, to be secure in my possessions, and make that decision to then leave the train station. And some folks, there's reports online of people that have tweeted about this and stuff like that, that they are actually denied access to buses.
Yeah.
From that same train station that they had refused to search from.
Yeah.
So this isn't something where it's just like, oh, you walk away and then you just don't get on the train. I mean, there's clearly ways that they can keep you from getting on other modes of transportation. So if they say maybe wanted to snap a picture of you, which technically would be within their right, and then they wanted to say text that picture or send that picture to the TSA station
MBTA
at the next place
alert,
or the MBTA alert and put that out and say, don't let this guy on a train today, don't let this lady on a train today because she violated, she refused the search. It's like when they mandatorily take your license away if you refuse a breathalyzer or something like that. It's completely ridiculous. And it's completely illegal, and it's a complete violation
and
of our
it's a total waste of money and time, and it doesn't even work.
Yeah, no,
it's completely pointless.
Money.
Besides,
because it's just theater. It's just there to keep you. It's there to keep that meme in your head alive.
Boring,
that there's a brown man, and he's going to blow you up, and he's going to kill your kids, and be afraid. But the TSA is here to protect you.
Oh, but it's totally random. It's so
random.
The
fatherland will protect you.
The fatherland will protect you.
There's the papers.
Yeah, it's like the gentleman that was here before, James O'Keefe. He was talking about the Stasi, in Germany. And that's what this is turning into. If we do not curb this, we will be in a situation where, our movement is going to be severely hindered, and we're going to have to accept more and more, and we're going to have to give more and more.
I'm not accepting it.
It's like the Giving Tree. You ever read the Giving Tree?
I don't think you guys are going to accept it.
Yes, I have read the Giving Tree.
You're going to have to accept it to a certain point, but
every
I'm pretty
time.
sure we're not
Let's
going
talk
to
about the Giving Tree. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, it's for anyone that hasn't read The Giving Tree, it's a children's book, right? And it's about this tree that gives of itself, gives like wood.
What trees have to give?
Which trees have to give?
And stuff,
and apples, apples, wood, and shade, and this little boy just keeps taking more and more and more and more from the tree until the tree's just a stump. It's not a tree anymore. You know, and that's the that's the slope that we're on right now. There's nothing left at a certain point. There's going to be nothing left to give,
and it's already there.
And people have this argument, like on one of the Dan Ray show, right? So Dan Ray,
that's I think Garrett, where you probably had more issue in the media with the Dan Ray show.
Well, Dan Ray's
I think you're right on
opinion on that was, well, they're already in the airport.
I know.
Okay, well,
he's such a lawyer on some
they're already in the airport. What does that matter?
He calls himself a libertarian, and then he's like doesn't even want to hear the discussion of it.
But that's the thing. Like, what does that matter? I mean, that kind of logic says, oh, they're already in the airport.
I think I made a perfectly good answer.
They're already in the train.
Did you hear what I said on that?
What did you tell him?
I said, well, number one, Dan, is the people in the airport. If you're going to the airport, you already know that they're going to be searching you. Everybody knows at this point. When you go to the T, most of the time, most people are not aware that they're going to be searched by the TSA at the fucking getting on the fucking train. For years, no one's ever searched. And he was kind of even like,
Yeah, but his response to that was that it was an optional transportation, like as if like every person could just go to another T. Like, what about people who are of like lower income or have bad, are not of sound body?
People that are disabled,
exactly. Like, people don't actually really have a choice. Where the airport, like you had said to him, is gonna be a choice. Like whether you have a good paying job or you're gonna go throw some money down the travel. This isn't your everyday get to work life.
Well, I think the thing on that show too is that you have two lawyers.
You know what? And both of those, I'm going to go right out there.
I know. Before you say that, I just want to explain one thing.
You know what I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say. You have two lawyers working for a corporation, and they're coming at it from a legal perspective on what the courts have ruled and the way the world is. Go ahead.
Oh, man.
And without a mind for that, we could actually do some shit and that they should pay attention to it.
I just got to say about, like, what really blew me away, like, I was kind of like, all right, well, this guy has some crazy ideas on interpreting the Fourth. If we're having a Fourth Amendment discussion, you're going to, like, totally, like, shoot down both of our people who called in.
Well, the professor in the end didn't, to me. In the end, he actually said he supported it.
That was actually, that was actually a good ending with him. You did very good on that, Mike. But then, I think it was Dan who went ahead and said that it's illegal in Massachusetts to film the police.
I don't know if he said that. I missed that.
Yeah.
Someone was saying that.
No. He said it. He said it. I tweeted right back to him. I'm like, dude, like, really? You can't be making these, like, legal arguments if you don't even know that we recently just had upheld our right to film the police.
Yeah. Like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I tweeted straight out.
I know that.
Like, check your
and
facts,
I'll challenge
bro.
that, too, because I have challenged it. I almost got arrested a couple times. I've gotten assaulted.
The
Ridley Report has, too.
You're violating my rights right now. No, I'm not.
Dave Ridley did get arrested. Like, Ridley Report?
Yeah.
He's one of the biggest ones. He's got, like, probably, like, I don't know, 5 or 10 times any followers on YouTube than I do. And he just, like, he really killing it. And he got arrested and had a trial and all this shit. So, I mean, it happens and you fight it. And, yeah, the cops can try to arrest you for it, but we can win in court on that.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I will. And it depends on the case and instance. Like, in one of the instances that happened to me, it was DJ Slim walking down. We were filming video with him. And he had a prop in his hand, and the park rangers came down because they were protesting Mark Emery, and they were harassing us all day. And they found him with weed, and they did the search. And I was already on him, so I could get the cops. They came into from a mile away, you watched them walk into my camera.
Nice.
Into my documentary movie, So it's not like It's perfect. It would have been a perfect case. I would have won automatically.
You couldn't have bought that angle.
No, exactly. Like picture perfect. That's a life sometimes when you're out there doing this work.
Yeah. I wanted to actually touch on something with the courts, tying it back to the TSA and the searches. So the federal appellate's courts have upheld the random searches, specifically on the MTA in New York. But that's a precedent from the federal level.
Stop and frisk was so successful.
Yeah, great. Stop and frisk. The argument that this court makes when it upholds this law is that it's not infringing on your rights because it's done at random. Because you're the eighth one to walk through, your rights apparently are out the window for the good of everybody else. They don't even try to argue that it's not an invasion of privacy. They just say it's a reasonable, sacrifice that all of a sudden you get stripped of your rights.
Yeah.
Which is completely...
How do they even do that?
Human
is it
rights.
Like one specific turnstile? What if a bunch of people go through at once? How do they pick?
I've heard that they're supposed to just have like a random set of numbers or whatever. And so like number 8... who comes through, like every 8th person or every 4th, whatever. They have some kind of algorithm and whatever. It's probably bullshit because they're probably just like 8th brown person, you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you're a shade foreign.
I like what you said. Was it you that said a couple weeks ago? You were like, oh, we used to only do that 50 years ago. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's like in 50 years they'll be talking about all this crazy Nazi bullshit that they've been pulling off, and it's like, and people will be like, well, that was 50 years ago. That's not today. And it's like, oh man, like you don't read your history. Like the whole foundation of this country just is one, revolving just catastrophe.
But not always. We can fight that.
We had written.
We've been the best country in a lot of respects because we got lucky. But 617-606-3700.
Genocide.
If anyone wants to weigh in,
we're in an extremely lucky country.
Yeah.
We killed a lot of people.
But let's
really
not lose that. We have to stand up and hold on to that. Don't take that for granted.
That's true.
So, man. TSA out of MBTA.
Yeah.
What is next? What are we going to do next? What is going to happen? What are you guys planning? What are your plans?
Well, we've got, we're really going to focus on next on, a call to action on like a civil / legislative side. We have amazing work done by Casey Hoye, who put up a...
Let's hear it for Casey, man. And she's going to do a second walkabout, I heard, too.
She's crazy.
I know. She's absolutely
I love her.
sick.
She's crazy. She's dedicated. She's awesome.
In the best way possible.
So for us, what she did actually like last night, burning like... It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. And she's like, yeah, I'm just going to finish making this giant list of all the people you can contact about these kind of issues. So she made a big list, and we're going to start directing people to, hey, contact your reps. We have a whole list made for you. We're probably going to work out some text or something. I don't know. But the next step is going after these people, lobbying, reaching out to them, letters, calling, getting there in person. That is so huge if you can get there in person.
Yeah. Definitely. We should do a lobby day. I mean, we used to do that with the CRC and going lobbying for medical marijuana.
And we can hit a T station on the way.
Yeah, no, we're absolutely going to be doing lobby days. That is 100%
can we
fact.
Do it in tandem with a T station? Do both in one day.
Well, that's the thing.
One T station, one fucking go. Like, what's the closest T station to the State House?
Park Street.
Yeah, hit Park Street, then go lobby. It'd be like a fucking photo op. Everyone meet there, do a fucking hour protest, and then boom, State House.
Yeah, and that's kind of something that we've been touching on a little bit here and there this whole time is that, there's different roles for everybody, Like you said, not everybody wants to go into the State House, Not everybody agrees that going to the State House is the way to affect change, For our folks who are, anarchists and folks like that who support our cause, and we realize that. And so there's going to be different mechanisms for people to get involved, like actions, But actions are great, and actions are fun, and actions produce media, and all that. But where the meat and potatoes of how you get things done happens is in that State House. So like I said in my speech, if you sat through a GA and you made it through an entire GA, then you are able.
Couldn't do it.
You have the power, to change this. You have the power to get the TSA off the T. If you were on the libertarian side, you sat through those Republican caucuses and you listened to all those morons drone on and on and on, neocon, just idiots about the stupidest stuff. You know what I mean? If you sat there and didn't start screaming at them, and just, won quietly, then you can win against the TSA. You can get the TSA off the T. It's just a matter of putting the work in, and we can do it, and we will do it, And it's not going to take 200 people. It's not going to take 2,000 people. It's going to take 50. It's going to take 10.
I think we're going to get like 2,000 people doing it.
And we're going to make it happen.
And it's going to happen pretty quickly. Because I can already feel it. It's like, this is a big deal.
I think with this entrenched system, it may take a little more than 50 for this one.
Well, no, because I don't know, my experience with the whole.
I agree with Frank. Don't take more than 50
because it's a matter of putting pressure on the representatives, right?
Well, people really working, not just fucking once in a while.
Another thing that would be helpful is to get even if it was just an online forum where people could that were registered voters in Massachusetts could sign a petition, get a bunch of signatures that have their district and their
and then hand deliver them. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's definitely something. You can print if you print out 500 pages with half a petition on one side, half a petition on the other. You cut those in half. You get 1,000 petitions. You get those filled out, and you go drop those. Boom on a rep's desk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's pretty easy. Frank does it all the time.
Use the nice thick
got a petition. So
you have a right to petition.
617-606-3700. If you don't think that's going to happen, if you don't think that we can make this happen, call in. Let us know.
I mean, I've made it happen. Garrett has made it happen. Mike, you were there for that. You were there in 2009.
We've made a lot of things happen.
Already,
and we just got started.
We have the power.
This one is big. Like I want to see let's get the feds out of the Boston subways. This is our street. This is our subway. We don't need the TSA. We don't need them. We don't.
Especially when they're complaining about having to cut services and raise fares. It just, it's so infuriating, and it's all connected. I mean, it's so upsetting that all these, like, Fourth Amendment defiling programs are being instituted that just take money away.
With the Fed's track record, I'd rather have a state or local or private.
That's what this is all about. This is a federal power grab on all levels. I mean, it used to be that the DEA was pushing, to take over through heavy funding and grants the police stations and work on getting higher drug busts and stuff. And now, post 9/11, we have Homeland Security doing it, giving them fucking tanks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like APCs we need, and the problem on Beacon Hill too is going to be that we have an extremely entrenched system in many different ways. There's a lot of pressure through grants and funding from the federal government to have this kind of a program in place. Yeah. But that is not to say that a very vocal minority cannot change this, because there's nobody else who could.
Well, at the end, I think that it's a vocal minority teamed up with a lot of times the silent majority. And that's really what we're talking about when we say the small amount of people can bring this change. We actually represent a lot more people. And it's the same thing with marijuana reform. If the 65% that voted yes for it were actually working it, we would have had that law changed a long time ago. But you know what I mean? Like the same thing with this. Most people, when you ask them, do you think
exactly.
that
when I was talking to people about this, I feel like for every person that was there today, they were representing 10 to 100 other kids, that automatically, as soon as you say what's going on, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's bullshit," or "Yeah, I know about that."
Such a waste of money and time.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're fucking trying to turn us into sheep and make us late for work and give up our rights for politics.
Yeah, but they just didn't think that anybody else had said anything about it, and so they didn't say anything.
And they don't see it as like the number one issue, because there's so many other number one issues, and the way the world is, and how they trying to feed their families, and there's not enough time, and the system is so corrupt, and who's going to actually change anything? Who can you right?
Yeah,
right.
But
this,
I mean,
I was just going to say, like, this crap is so expensive. If you look at these checkpoints, there's usually have 2 TSA officers and like 4 transit cops, and you got 4 cops standing around while 2 TSA officers are swabbing test strips into these fancy machines that the company that made the machines is probably funding Homeland Security to do it in some way. I just haven't looked into it yet. But it's like, how much money are we pissing away? Why they're talking about cutting services and raising fares possibly again, or at least raising taxes definitely this year or very, very soon. Like, it's not good. Like, let's stop wasting money on this crap. Stop wasting money being suspicious of each other, being terrorists and criminals and whatever. And, hey, let's fix some infrastructure so I'm not stuck 3 times a week on the red line because it's very cold out trying to get to work.
When they close the track on the orange line, every weekend, and I'm late here.
Yeah, we got to try to get some more of these elected officials on the show, because
it's true.
I mean, we got to ask them about this stuff. I want the governor of Massachusetts on here. Why can't we get him on here?
We can. Why not?
I know.
Well, why can't we get like a Durbin tax? Why can't we get a Robin Hood tax? I mean, I know that's to deviate from the Fed issue, but like, why? Actually, not the Fed, the TSA, but like a Durbin tax is basically a small tax on every financial transaction that happens between like stockbrokers and things like that, right? So like, Deval Patrick wants to pass the buck to the regular guy, to the working person, and then these huge financial companies still get to go scot-free, and get tax breaks and everything else, when simply taxing like 0.01 of some of these financial transactions would bring in more money than the whole income tax combined. I mean, when you look at like what the state makes as far as income tax compared to non-tax,
the whole thing.
What about a graduated income tax? Or is that still like constitution against the Massachusetts?
No, the Massachusetts income tax is what? It's like 5.3.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a graduated one that goes. Yeah, I think it's because there's an actual. Part in the Massachusetts state constitution that won't allow it, but why not?
There should be no income tax, but that's a completely different conversation. We get into the weeds. The important thing is that this money that's going to the TSA, that's going to violate people's rights, is would be much better spent rebuilding communities, sending kids to college,
fixing the damn trains,
fixing the trains, I mean, providing for people who can't provide for themselves, and actually giving them a path, you know, to be self-sustaining, rather than just keeping them, you know, in line with you know, at the welfare office or at the, you know, at the food stamps, because that's what they need to survive. You know, because you pay them just enough. You're like an evil boss. Yeah. You know what I mean? That just pays you just enough so you don't quit. You know, but not enough to survive, and that's what's going on. If you get out, if you make just a little bit more money than the thresholds are, you're off on your own, and you don't get any services. So we need an actual path in this state that is going to, you know, lift people up out of poverty. You know, not a path that's going to force people to have to make a decision between, you know, going out and making it to work on time and allowing their rights to be violated. You know, that's the decision that we're being forced to make here in the Commonwealth, is we're being forced to make the decision between our rights and our livelihoods. And, you know, that's completely illegal and wrong on the part of the government, you know, and we need to stand up, and we are standing up. It's been going on since 2006, and, you know, I see it more and more and more. You know, I see it more on Facebook. Now, you know, they keep doing these bioterrorism tests. You know, they've got all these air quality sensors and stuff, and they're pumping inert germs, you know, into the tea. Yeah, and we don't know what the hell it is.
They were dead.
Oh, yeah, they were dead.
Trust
okay,
us.
yeah,
Trust
but
us.
the last time they did this, in what was it, Cincinnati in like the 50s, it gave a bunch of people cancer.
But trust us, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, right.
We've changed.
That was 50 years ago.
We've changed. We just told you about it in the 70s, and then have covered it up ever since. Right?
So totally disgusting.
Right.
It's disgusting.
That's another beautiful homeland security project to protect us from bioterrorism.
You know? And what about this thing that just came out, that there's Department of Defense documents talking about taking activists and bringing them to re-education camps, where there's going to be a side. No, seriously, this is an actual document. It's real. Yeah.
It's not from Alex Jones.
It's not from Alex Jones.
That's what I thought. I was like, is this InfoWars?
I got this through Vermin Supreme.
Oh, there we go.
Really?
I trust
who's far more credible.
He does.
He really honestly is.
He really does.
I trust
more credibility than Alex Jones.
I trust a man with a giant toothbrush and a boot on his head.
Exactly.
How many people
Long
we
before
got
I trust Alex Jones.
We're all in this together. That Vermin Supreme has more credibility than Alex Jones.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. 1,
I do
2,
declare.
3, 4, 5, 6.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's not hard to argue that. I'd say he has more credibility than all of the politicians that we have.
Anybody that thinks that Alex Jones is credible, go back and listen to some of the Y2K, like stuff from Alex Jones.
I think we just
where he talks about the how they're coming, and, you know, the bombs are dropping, and like, you know, listen to that, okay? If you want to, like, listen to Alex Jones, and Alex Jones will sit there and tell you how he's real, you know, and then he'll go to somebody who, like Catherine Bleich, you know, who is working hard to expose fusion centers in this country. You know, he'll go to her at one of her rallies and scream in her face with his bullhorn saying that she's COINTELPRO, you know, and that's complete and total utter nonsense. You know, if anybody's COINTELPRO, it's this guy. You know, people that get away with that kind of stuff and talk about that kind of stuff usually don't make it. Look at William Cooper. You know, what happened to him? He got shot in a shootout with the cops, you know, because they were coming to take him away. I mean,
that happened not too long after he was on the Alex Jones show, calling him out on his bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that. That may be a stretch, but
conjecture, but
there's some coincidental timing there.
617-606-3700.
You brought up Alex Jones and the validity of that.
All right. Well, let's not get sued today by Alex Jones. So anyways, TSA out of the MBTA. We should also say that I heard that InfoWars actually promoted this.
They did.
Why we're bashing them?
Well, no. There's kind of a divergence happening between InfoWars and Alex Jones, where InfoWars is kind of taken up on its own. There's a lot of there's a lot of quality guys coming out underneath of InfoWars that are good people. You know, not necessarily COINTELPRO.
Yeah, for now. I'm not saying Alex Jones is COINTELPRO.
My beef is specifically on Alex Jones because he does something that Homeland Security does.
Dude,
he promotes fear.
Well, he's playing a role, dude. He's making
That's
money.
his role. His role is to be the mainstream alternative news source.
He's a fucking WWE wrestler. That's all you need to know. Like, you question, like, oh, well, Hulk Hogan, man.
His voice,
you know, like, come on, dude. He's Hulk Hogan. Like, it's fucking Alex Jones. He's not running for Congress. He's not looking to change the world. Seriously. He's an actor.
But
actor.
He's an actor
schizophrenic actor.
Yeah. He's an actor that purports himself to be promoting real news and real things. He doesn't say, "Hey, you know, I'm an actor," or "Hey, you know, I'm a wrestler," and there's this like TV show and whatever. But
Colbert doesn't have to do that either, though.
Colbert does Comedy Central. Right? I mean, you're kind of going like way off, you know, reaching, trying to say that he's not a fearmonger. And
he is a fearmonger, no doubt. Like that's what I don't like about the programming of it.
That's why he survives. That's why he's able to get his message out and be heard by so many people, because it's not a message that's going to actually turn people against this thing that's developing. He promotes fear,
it's not activism,
just like Homeland Security.
Look for the we need is hope. We need inspiration. We need to show people that we can do it. We have done it. We are doing it, and you are helping us, and you're all a part of it. And today was a great day. I want to thank you guys all for coming in.
Seriously,
we want to come back. We got to talk about medical marijuana quickly.
Yeah. Let's talk about medical marijuana.
Why don't we play one song, come back, do medical, and say goodbye.
All right.
Thank you guys for coming
already?
in.
Thank you.
Yeah, this show's been flying.
Huge thank you to Unregular Radio, man. I love all you guys.
Everybody on Unregular Radio.
Just real quick too. Our Twitter handle is at Defend the Fourth. We're gonna keep the that's the number 4 th, not the word fourth
we'll
spelled out.
On the Facebook
also, we have a blog that was posted up. It's www.wordpress.defendthefourth, spelled the same way .com.
It's actually spelt out.
Oh, it is spelt out.
Blogspot, yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, good.
We'll have the links up on the Facebook
Yeah, we'll put all
pages.
those links up and everything. So if you haven't joined our Facebook event, join it. We're going to make it a reoccurring event and use that as a hub.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for coming in, Frank. Thanks for Garrett.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Kirkland. Thank you. And Tamerlay. I said that right?
Tamerlay. What do you mean?
Tamerlay.
You got me saying names.
Tamerlay.
Yeah.
I know I got it.
It's not that hard. It's just Tamerlay.
Tamerlay. She was awesome today. She
did great. I mean, she did awesome.
She led our march.
She led the troops from Harvard. That was a walk. I didn't want to do a Harvard walk. That wasn't going to happen with me.
She was good. She was fun. So, what a great day. Thank you, everyone, for supporting.
We'll have some videos, too. I know you were taking video all day. And I have a little
everywhere.
bit.
Lots of press.
The little clip that I took of Frank's speech, we'll try to post up tonight.
And then, so why don't we play some music and we'll come back. Thank you, guys. Thanks for everyone for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Huge thank you.
Unregular Radio.
Don't wanna be a player. I'm not a player, I just crush a lot. Still got what you're looking for. Don't wanna